Hey guys, welcome back to another What's for Dinner. This first dinner is gonna be just a really simple, quick and easy summer meal. We're gonna have a salad and some baked chicken, and I think I'm going to make up some barbecue sauce as well because my husband mentioned wanting that and I don't have any. So I'm gonna show you what I'm doing for this very easy, quick, simple summer dinner. So I'm just working on my seasoning for the chicken. I've got this herb sea salt. It's called Herbamare. If you can find it, I highly recommend it. And then some onion powder, which was apparently stuck at the bottom, probably from all the humidity. Some garlic powder and paprika. I don't have any measurements. Just, I guess, a seasoning combination if you're looking for any. Just really the basics here for some baked chicken on this summer night where I didn't really want to spend a lot of time cooking. And so I just had some chicken legs and chicken thighs, and I put them in a greased baking dish and poured some melted butter on top, probably 1 to 2 tablespoons of melted butter, and then I'm just adding on the seasoning. You could really get in there with your hands if you wanted to, but I don't like handling raw meat, so I avoid it whenever possible. I baked this in the oven at probably 350 or 400 for, 20 to 30 minutes until it's done. And then I'm moving on to my barbecue sauce, which I lost the footage, so I'm just showing you what I had put in there. Ketchup, sriracha, Worcestershire sauce, mustard, some brown sugar, and then some honey. And I don't have exact ratios here. I just kind of added until I got the flavoring that I wanted. So this was a messy dinner. Got some splatters I'm trying to clean up, and then I ended up I just kind of had some issues when cooking this simple dinner. I think I had the heat too high, but here I am. I'm just tasting it and then going back and adding more until I got the desired flavor. All right, guys. Well, this very simple dinner has been a struggle for me. I burnt my hand. I don't know if you can see it. There's like a red line there, back of my hand on the stove. I ran upstairs. I usually keep a bottle of lavender in the kitchen, and it wasn't there. So I ran up and grabbed my lavender oil and poured that on my hand. But because of all that, I missed a bunch of stuff. But I just flipped the chicken over about halfway through, and I didn't put all the seasonings on it. I just put some more of the salt and paprika on it. And I just added a few more things to the barbecue sauce. I don't really follow something. I just kind of went back and forth until it got a flavor that I liked. And yeah, so dinner's almost ready. All right, guys, so we finally got dinner done. Just a couple burns got in the way. It's a very easy dinner, but I burnt myself so a couple times. Anyways, just a very easy baked barbecue chicken and a really hearty salad. Jesse's has avocado and eggs. Mine has not the avocado and almonds, actually. So, and he's got his pretzels because that's how he rolls. All right, guys, so for this next dinner, I'm laughing because this is like my 4th time doing the voiceover, but I'm just heating up a little bit of olive oil in a pan. This is a kielbasa skillet meal, and we're just wanting to get the kielbasa nice and like a little caramelized in the bottom. So that's kind of why I'm laying them flat, and we're just gonna let that cook and then flip them over and get it done on both sides. I don't know what my issue is today. We've got thunder that's been going on for like over an hour nonstop, so you might hear that in the background. And then I finally just decided to go forward with it, did a voiceover, and the fan had kicked on my computer, and it was so loud in the voiceover. So now I'm doing it again. Anyways, I added my apron on here in the middle because I need to stop letting food splatter on my clothes and just wear an apron. I don't know why I don't wear an apron, but I'm getting better at that. So as this is cooking, I'm just moving this to a bowl. Don't worry about all that stuff in the bottom. That's good stuff, really good stuff. We're gonna get it all off, and it'll add a lot of flavor to this dish. I will have a link in the description box below for the original recipe. I pretty much stuck to it, except for, well, I switched out a few things. I always do. But that's okay. I'll tell you what I changed. The recipe called for broccoli. I used green beans. I omitted the bell pepper and the black pepper. So nothing major. Keep that in mind when you're making a recipe or you're seeing a recipe. don't like be turned off by it. If it's something that you don't like, if there's ingredients that you don't use or you don't like, just change it. It's totally fine. I do it all the time. So now we're going to add in 1 small onion that's been diced up. This is where you would add in the bell pepper as well. And I switched to a wooden spoon so I could just scrape those bits off the bottom. So that's what we're doing there. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out. And also say hello in the comments. I love to chat with you. And it also does help my channel out as well. So the win all the way around, at least for me. Okay, there's the thunder again. Not sure if you heard that. So now I'm adding in some minced garlic and then a little bit of salt. You could also add in some black pepper, but I don't like black pepper, so I don't cook with black pepper. And once the onions and your bell pepper, if you're using that, are nice and tender, then we're going to add in 1 cup of uncooked rice. I'm using brown rice here, and you're just going to cook that around for a minute or 2. Guys, seriously, my computer fan is kicking back on again. All right, I stopped and now I'm back once again. Now we're going to add in the chicken broth. I think it's 2 cups, and just stirring that around again, trying to just work the bits off the bottom, and then we're going to lower the heat, let that simmer till it's cooked. However long your rice takes to be done, probably about 15 minutes. You don't need to stir it in between. I did right here just because, again, I was trying to work the stuff off the bottom. And then once it's all cooked, the rice is all cooked, without disturbing it is how the recipe says it. I'm adding in my frozen green beans, or you could do the broccoli, and letting that just cook. So I'm just setting them on top, placing the lid back on, and letting them, I guess, like steam up. Checking them just to make sure they're done, and once they are, we're just going to mix it all together. We're going to add back in the kielbasa, combine everything real good, and add in about 1 cup of cheese. I used probably cheddar, possibly Monterey, but I'm pretty sure I used cheddar here. And we're going to mix that all in and then add a little bit more on the top and turn off the heat and just put the lid back on until the cheese on top gets all melty. This recipe was really good. I'm not sure, like, it was so basic, but I think it's just the flavor from the kielbasa and all of like the goodies at the bottom that got worked in. This was just a really tasty and flavorful dinner. Very easy to make, and I definitely recommend it. So for this dinner tonight, we're making buffalo chicken nachos, and this was amazing. Very simple, but so good. I just heated up some butter in a pan, and I'm just cooking up these pieces of chicken. I think they were chicken breasts. I don't even remember. Yeah, that's what they were. And I am just gonna put a little bit of salt on them, and we're just gonna cook them. I got this idea from Jess and the Boys. If you don't watch Jess and the Boys, you need to. Major food inspiration, in addition to being an adorable family. But I don't always write down specific recipes, so I did not write down her exact recipe. Hers was no doubt fancier than ours. They probably made their own sauces and all that because they are amazing like that. But I just wrote down the idea, which is a lot of times what I do when I'm watching videos. Sometimes I save a specific recipe, but sometimes I just jot down the idea and then do my own version of it, but at least then I have an idea to go off of. So that's what we're doing here. I flipped the chicken over. I'm adding in a little bit more butter and some salt, and this is kind of like my cheating. I could have fully cooked it, then cut it up, or I could have cut it up and then cooked it. I'm just doing it all at once. It's saving me an extra dirty dish. So I'm just cutting it up once it's partially cooked with this metal spatula into bite-sized pieces, and then we're gonna just finish cooking it. As you can see, it's not fully cooked here. I hadn't trimmed them or anything, so I'm just trimming out a couple little pieces here as I'm doing this, but you could obviously do this a different way, but I just went along with it like this. Yeah. So this dinner was for sure, like my husband said, like anything we had after that, he was like, nothing really compares to those buffalo chicken nachos. So I will definitely be doing this again. Very easy. As you can see, once it was all cooked, I chopped it up a bunch with a spatula just to get them really small, and adding in some buffalo wing sauce. Once that's done, I am going to try my hand at making my own, but I still have that in the fridge, and I'm just mixing in the sauce till the chicken is coated, and then I'm letting my husband take over the making of the nachos because that's kind of his thing. So we have a baking sheet lined with foil, and it has been sprayed, and just laid out our tortilla chips. We love these blue corn tortilla chips from Aldi, and some shredded cheddar cheese, and then my husband's just adding on the chicken, and then we had some corn in the refrigerator, so some leftover corn, so he's adding that on. You can add on whatever you like, but we're just putting on the stuff that we want heated up in the oven. So that's the part that we're adding in, and then the rest, all of the cold stuff, gets added in once it's out of the oven. We put in the oven at 400 degrees for, excuse me, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, just until everything is nice and bubbly. We like it when like some of the cheese on the edges gets a little bit like burnt and like crisp and stuff. The flavor on that is amazing. So just do that until it's all heated through, and then we pull it out. All right, Jess, do your thing.
Lettuce, tomatoes, lettuce, tomatoes. Drop it on, drop it on, drop it like it's hot. Drop it on, drop it on, drop it like it's hot. Okay, that was some of it.
That was left over from the other night. So you chopped up some more.
Fresh to the fresh. You gotta do it upright. You gotta have that cool on top of the warm, baby.
He's really into doing nachos.
And Lonnie doesn't get extra tomatoes.
If you guys ever hear him saying Lonnie, he's talking about me. That's just what he calls me.
That's true.
I'm not going to go into the whole reason behind the nickname, but I've noticed he's been saying that on camera a lot.
Lonnie more of the
Is he adding cucumbers? Oh, I didn't know you were doing cucumbers.
a little bit.
Okay. I mean,
Little touch, not necessary, but
I don't know.
so many things in my life are not necessary and I still take them.
Do you want
Skin cells, you know.
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know. Didn't work.
Are we doing sour cream on this?
Yep. That was a natural cut.
Oh, nice. Little dollop. Do a dollop. Do a dollop of. What is that?
Friendly.
Friendly. That's Aldi brand.
Happy?
Yeah. And here you have it, guys.
A little bit more sauce.
Oh, so, all right. A
smidge. I know you got to be careful with this.
Okay, let me get out of the way.
Overdo it. You don't want to overdo
This
it.
is a serious thing. Yeah, this does not have like a pour spout. It's just.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
That would happen.
Nice little delicate drizzle. Wow, look at the artist in the kitchen. He's very precise. I'm not. All right. Stop being dramatic. And this, guys, is how we eat it. We'll just bring this over to the table. We don't even use plates. We just eat like horses at the trough.
Don't touch.
I won't. It's hot. But we just eat this like horses at the trough. Where are you going? I'm recording still.
I was going to bring it over the table.
I know, but then I got to move the hot plates. Just hang on a second. He's eager, guys. All right. So that is tonight's dinner. It is 10 o'clock. It is 10 p.m. and we're eating dinner. Guys, we don't live a normal life. That is tonight's dinner, buffalo chicken nachos. So for tonight's dinner, I'm going to be making a pork chop sheet pan meal. I'm having some sciatic issues in my leg, and so I think I have everything in front of me and I don't have to like move much. The sheet pan meal will be perfect because once I get it in the oven, I don't have to like stand here and work on stuff. It also will leave me with not a lot of dishes. So we're going to go ahead and get started with this. I'm doing a slight variation. Sorry, I'm like bending over so I'm not in the camera very good because I don't want to make a lot of adjustments. I will be making some variations in the recipe, but I'm looking at the recipe mainly just with quantities. And then I'm going to use some lemon essential oil instead of lemon juice. I do have fresh lemons in the fridge, but this is just gonna be easier, and that's what I'm going with right now. So, all right, let's get started. I'm also going to be doing approximates because I'm not going to go get a bunch of measuring spoons. We're just gonna guesstimate, but I will have the original recipe in the description box below if you like to follow things precisely. First, we are going to make the rub for the pork chops. So we're gonna use some olive oil, smoked paprika, which I just have regular paprika. That'll be just fine. Brown sugar. Probably should have used a bigger bowl. Garlic powder and some salt. All right, so I didn't realize my camera stopped recording because my memory was full. I'm working on the stuff for the veggies, so I've got my olive oil and I put my lemon essential oil in here. It actually says you can just pour this over the veggies. Oh, well, they're already cut up, but I decided to do it this way. I'm gonna add some garlic powder, dried parsley. It also calls for dried parsley. 2 teaspoons of it. All right, this is gonna take a second. Also some fresh parsley, but I don't have any of that, so. And some salt and pepper, but I don't cook with pepper. All right, so that's gonna be for the vegetables. The recipe called for baby carrots, but I just like the taste of whole carrots better. I feel like they do taste better, but use whatever you've got and whatever you want. I would have used more carrots, but honestly, by the time I realized that, it was too much work to walk to the other side of the kitchen to get more out. So I'm just cutting up some carrots and some potatoes, and then I'm using some frozen green beans. But I would imagine this would work with a variety of combinations, like of different vegetables that you liked. Broccoli would work. My husband said Brussels sprouts would have been good. So work with whatever you've got. But I'm just adding them onto a greased sheet pan. And then we're going to add on the vegetable sauce, or I don't know, seasonings here. And then I wanted a little bit more flavoring on them, so I ended up just, after I tossed them in, I just drizzling on a little bit more olive oil and adding a little bit more seasoning across them. So I always say just kind of do what you want in your kitchen. You're the one who has to eat the food. So go with what you like. And then I'm moving on to the pork chops and went to season both sides. But as you'll see, I kind of ran out, but just placing them right on top. All right, so I either went too heavy on the rub on the back side, or I should have just measured and I would have had the right amount. So I am just going to add the ingredients on the backs of these to just add some more seasoning. This is my I don't follow recipes way of cooking, but you're getting the general idea, and if you need specifics, just check out the link in the description box. All right, and this says to put this in the oven at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. All right, guys, and here it is, fresh out of the oven. It looks good to me. Well, I just wanted to give an update on that dinner. That was from last night. I was definitely a little bit frazzled. I thought about not filming because of my sciatica was so bad, but I was like, well, I still have to cook dinner, so I might as well film it. But I feel like the filming of it was all over the place, and so was the cooking of it. So sorry about that. I'm doing much better today. It was one of those things where it came on like, I don't know, early afternoon, and like this morning I woke up and was fine. Of course, now I have a headache, but we've had like thunderstorms and stuff rolling in all day, and I feel like I'm just feeling the pressure change in my head. I don't know. Does anybody else have that where like your body responds to the weather? Because mine does. Not all the time, but a lot of times. And I have a headache and my ear pressure is like intense. But it's a thing. Look it up. I'm not crazy. It does affect some people with a barometric pressure outside changes suddenly. Anyways, my update on this recipe. So my husband The vegetables were really good. I think I needed to stop halfway through and toss the vegetables because some of them were not as cooked as well as others, and I probably should have cut the potatoes and carrots a little bit smaller, just to make sure, like some of them were cooked really well and then some weren't. The flavoring on everything was really good. I liked the pork chops. My husband did not because of the flavoring. I think he's really weird with meat sometimes, and he said it just had the meat itself had a weird taste, not like the seasonings. So I guess I'm eating all of the leftovers. I thought, well, maybe the meat just was bad, but like I had a piece of his pork chop and it tasted fine to me. So I don't know what that's about. I will definitely make these again. I think it was just a weird batch of pork chops for him, or you could do this with chicken. But all of the flavoring on it was really good. The lemon on the vegetables was so good. So I just wanted to kind of update on that. It was definitely a good dinner, but there were just aspects of it that didn't quite come out right. But things that could definitely be remedied. Okay, that's it for this video. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Hit the red subscribe button and say hello in the comments before you leave. And I'll see you in my next video.